I'm Debbie Godfrey. Welcome to the Positive Parenting Pep Talks podcast.
So I had a mom email me a success story, and she's like, "I'm not sure if I would want to post this on your wall because I didn't know if somebody would think it's cruel, and I didn't think it was cruel. I thought it was a great opportunity to teach." She said, I used a natural consequence on my son Hunter, and boy, did it work. He wanted soy ice cream sandwich despite having an empty stomach. I tried to explain it wasn't a good idea, but he was determined to get his own way, so I went ahead and let him have it. Let's just say I don't think he'll ever demand this again with an upset stomach. The poor little thing is fast asleep snoring now. And I think that this reminded me of when my kids were young and they had sensitivity to red dye. I don't know if this is something that you've come across yet, but red 40 is a pretty harsh dye that's in many, many foods. And I was amazed when I found out my kids had a sensitivity to it, how many different types of foods it's in. It's like in Doritos, macaroni and cheese, and of course, everything that's red, anything that's red, and drinks, Gatorade drinks, all kinds of stuff has red 40 in it. Two of my kids would get really bad headaches if they ate or drank anything with red dye in it, and then Michelle would get like ADHD symptoms. So it really did affect my family in a terrible way. And I think, like this mom and this example here, I really use the natural consequences for my kids in terms of helping them make the observation and the connection between their headaches and the red dye, or the hyper behavior and the red dye. And it really helped them learn to be responsible for checking what they were eating and drinking.
Look, Bumble knows you're exhausted by dating. All the must not take yourself too seriously and 6'1" since that matters. And what do I even say other than hey? Well, that's why they're introducing an all-new Bumble with exciting features to make compatibility easier, starting the chat better, and dating safer. They've changed, so you don't have to. Download the new Bumble now.
And probably by the time they were in junior high, all of them were really good about looking at the labels and figuring things out. And it was really interesting because one time my son had hockey, and I used to keep drinks in the car for him, sports drinks and those types of things. And I was always really careful about checking the bottles to make sure there's no red dye in them. And so I was at Costco one time and I picked up a case of Gatorade, and I read the ingredients, and I didn't see red dye, and I was like, oh good. So got him the Gatorade and went to the hockey practice, and I handed him one, and he had a really bad headache later, and it was just like the headaches he got every time he had red dye. And I thought, that's really strange. So I went and looked at the bottles again, and it turned out there was 3 different flavors in the bulk package that I got at Costco, and 2 of them had red dye, and the one that I had looked at didn't. So there was one flavor that did not have red dye, and then there was 2 flavors that did. And so it was the one of the ones that did that he drank. And so it was almost like one of those double blind studies where, I didn't even know there was red dye. He didn't know that. We both thought there wasn't red dye, but that headache just came on like a freight train. And so it was just really obvious, so evident that that type of thing really bothers him, that he's very sensitive to it. So with these kind of issues, if you can let natural consequences, and if you haven't heard my pep talk on natural consequences before, a natural consequence is what would happen in the situation if you stay totally out of it. So if you just let the world teach your child, if you let how the world works teach your child, it's going to be one of the best teachers of children. And then you can be a support, you can be a safe haven when the world has taught them their lessons, a way to comfort them and to be on their side. And it really creates a lot of closeness in your relationship when you can do that. So have a great day. Happy parenting.
Thank you so much for joining me here at the Positive Parenting Pep Talks podcast. I assume you're here because you're getting something out of these daily pep talks. And wouldn't it be great if more parents could hear more about these ideas for their children? And you can help me in a great way by liking the episodes, by sharing them on your social media, and especially by providing a review on your platform of choice. So if you could do me a huge favor and do that, it would really help get this out to many, many, many more parents. And we can all help our children feel more seen, heard, and understood, which is my life's work, is to make sure that all children feel loved and appreciated and that we can discipline them without breaking their spirit. So I hope that you've enjoyed these podcasts and will continue to enjoy them. And I really appreciate any support you can give me here at Positive Parenting Pep Talks. Thank you so much. Have a great day and happy parenting.